Hey friends, welcome back to Grand Adventure. I'm your host Mark Guido, and we're spending this week in a very impressive and brand spanking new RV park in Roseburg, a community in south central Oregon. We have a whole lot to share with you around this area in this week's episode of Grand Adventure, so stay tuned. The Umpqua River is a popular fly fishing and rafting destination that runs through southern Oregon for 111 miles. The river drains an expansive network of valleys in the mountains west of the Cascade Range and south of the Willamette Valley. From its source up against the Cascades, the Umpqua flows northwest through the Oregon Coast Range and empties into the Pacific at Winchester Bay. The 100 valleys of the Umpqua form the heart of the timber industry of southern Oregon, generally centered on Roseburg. We're based this week in Roseburg, built along both banks of the South Umpqua River, a few miles upstream of its confluence with the North Umpqua, only about 500 feet above sea level and bifurcated by Interstate 5. Roseburg's primary industries today include timber and tourism, and the region is home to many vineyards and more than 30 wineries. The city was named for settler Aaron Rose, who established a homestead within the current city limits in 1851. Rose was born in Ulster County, New York, but emigrated to Oregon from Coldwater, Michigan, where he had lived since 1837. Rose's home was used both as a grocery store and a roadside inn and tavern, until he built a proper hotel in 1853. The fortunes of Roseburg grew with the lumber industry. In 1937, Roseburg Lumber opened and became the major employer in the community, joined by Weyerhaeuser, Champion, and Son Studs. Johnny Cash mythologized Roseburg loggers in the 1960 song Lumberjack. By the 1970s, Roseburg branded itself as the timber capital of the nation. A fire that burned downtown in 1959 ignited a parked truck owned by the Pacific Powder Company, containing 2 tons of dynamite and 4.5 tons of nitrocarbon nitrate, a blasting agent. The resulting blast destroyed downtown buildings in an 8-block radius, and further damaged buildings in another 30 blocks. A total of 14 people died in the blast and fire, and 125 were injured. Overall, there's not much to write home about in Roseburg's downtown core, with its many empty storefronts. But the outlying commercial areas include most products and services an RV traveler could ever need. In my case, including a Ford dealership to repair the brake caliper bracket that we broke towing our fifth wheel on our way here from the Columbia River Gorge. However, if you're far more mechanically adept than I am, you can get the best products for not only repairing and upgrading your tow vehicle, but also your RV, camping lifestyle, fishing, biking, water sports, and just plain RV travel from our valued video sponsor, etrailer. Whether you need products for your RV, boat, trailer, vehicle, hunting and fishing, off-roading, and more, our video sponsor, etrailer, has you covered. Best of all, you'll find over 100 US-based enthusiast customer service reps ready to help via phone, chat, or email, both before and after the sale. These folks have used themselves the products that you're shopping for, and you won't find a more knowledgeable team anywhere to help you with your outdoor project. Click the link in the video description or scan the code on your screen to shop etrailer.com with Grand Adventure. We chose Bar Run Golf and RV in Roseburg as our campground for the week. This is a truly remarkable facility, first opened only 2 years ago, built atop reclaimed sand and gravel mines on the banks of the South Umpqua River. Amenities here include not only the golf course, but also the most spectacular swimming complex that we've seen at any RV park anywhere. Alas, the pool and lazy river are both closed for the season during our October visit, but at least the hot tub is still available for relaxing evening soaks. Besides, the entire facility is owned by the Guido family. No relation, but with a name like that, you can't go wrong. Our 50 amp full hookup site, which includes a truly massive concrete pad that's double width for its entire length, cost us $411.20 for the week, including all taxes. I love it when an RV park uses these all-in-one marine pedestals. We've also been able to catch up on a number of deliveries while we've been staying here. You may have heard that Starlink dropped the price on its Starlink Mini satellite dish substantially while we were here, from $499 to $299. We've been enjoying Starlink high-speed satellite internet for not only data, but also voice and text communication while towing through cellular dead zones, ever since we mounted our third-generation dish on the roof of our fifth wheel, a process which we shared in our Grand Adventure episode 401. But that's only available when we're hitched to our trailer. So with the price drop, we finally pulled the trigger to add the Starlink Mini to our Ford F-350 to provide service while we're out exploring. We're going to use this for a couple of months before we share our experience in an upcoming episode this winter. But in the meantime, if you'd like to try Starlink and get an extra month's free service, and in the process give us one too, scan the QR code on your screen or click the link down below in the video description to access our Starlink referral code. We've also made use of the front receiver hitch from our video sponsor etrailer that we profiled in our episode 403 to add a recovery winch to our Ford. With all of the forest road, desert, and off-road driving we do, it gives us some valuable peace of mind to know that we can extricate ourselves from most situations. Again, we'll share our experience in an upcoming episode that will premiere this winter. North Umpqua and South Umpqua Rivers join here, approximately 6 miles northwest of Roseburg, before continuing their journey to the Pacific. It's one of 4 major rivers in Oregon that start in or east of the Cascade Range and reach the Pacific, along with the Rogue, Klamath, and Columbia. The Oregon Department of Fish and Wildlife lists more than 50 areas for fishing for salmon, steelhead, bass, bluegill, and trout in the Roseburg area. Surprisingly, Douglas County is home to no fewer than 7 covered bridges, something that we didn't expect to find in southern Oregon. The 110-foot Horse Creek Bridge was actually built in 1930 across the Mackenzie River in Lane County, but was disassembled and moved in 1990 to its current site in Myrtle Creek's Millside Park, where it's used as a footbridge. Not far away, also in Myrtle Creek, the Neil Lane Bridge is one of the shortest covered bridges in Oregon at only 42 feet long. Built for $1,000 in 1939, the bridge is the only one in the state that uses a king post truss design. Arched portals, narrow windows, and plank flooring add to its rustic charm. The Milo Academy Bridge spans 100 feet across the South Umpqua River, leading to the Milo Academy boarding school. Built in 1962, the bridge is actually made of steel with a housing of wood, replacing an original covered wooden bridge that dated to 1920. The current Rochester Bridge was built in 1933 to replace the original span built in the 1860s and is the prettiest of the Oregon covered bridges we've visited. This elegant 80-foot-long bridge has unique side windows with gently curved tops, crossing the Calapooia River. Built in 1925, Pass Creek Bridge replaced a previous covered bridge built in 1906. It was in service until 1981. In 1989, the 61-foot bridge was moved a short distance downstream and rebuilt as a footbridge. We'll hike to one of the prettiest and most unique waterfalls we've seen all year. Learn some cultural and natural history at the Douglas County Museum. Sample some local Pinot Noir at Oregon's oldest winery. And follow the Umpqua River all the way to the ocean, right after we take a quick ad break. So stay tuned. Oregon Route 138, also referred to as the Rogue Umpqua National Scenic Byway, extends eastward from Roseburg into the Cascade Mountains towards Crater Lake National Park, which we previously visited back in 2022 to film Grand Adventure Episode 264. It's here, in the town of Glide, 12 miles east of Roseburg, that the Little River and the North Umpqua River meet head-on. Known as Colliding Rivers, a large basalt dike forced this meeting, the only place in Oregon where a river meets its tributary in such a straight angle. The byway is also home to numerous waterfalls. I've questioned the wisdom of driving 60 miles each way to see Toketee Falls, especially on such a cloudy date with the threat of rain showers. But the lure of what I've seen in pictures is too strong to ignore. It's a short hike of just under half mile each way from the trailhead parking lot to the falls. But the trail is spectacularly beautiful, with much to enjoy along the journey. This is a classic uphill in each direction trail, with about 500 steps to negotiate. Toketee Falls is one of the most famous waterfalls in all of Oregon, renowned for the graceful columnar basalt formation framing the two-step falls. The North Umpqua River has carved a sinuous gorge out of the lava flow, resulting in a waterfall of 113 feet in height, a 28-foot upper tier which plunges into a pool flanked by a deep alcove, followed by an 85-foot plunge into a large pool. Back at the trailhead, it looks like the wooden Toketee pipeline could use some work. This conduit, 12 feet in diameter, diverts much of the volume of the North Umpqua River to a powerhouse located downstream. The Douglas County Museum in Roseburg was a surprising find, greatly exceeding our expectations. Exhibits explore, interpret, and explain both Douglas County's cultural and natural history, from the Cow Creek Band of the Umpqua tribe to the arrival of emigrants on the Oregon Trail and 20th century logging, from woolly mammoths to today's bears and mountain lions. Outside, visitors will find the historic Dillard Railroad Depot, built by the Oregon and California Railroad around 1882. Next to the depot sits the only known remaining passenger car from the Oregon and California. Two men, including Jim, who invited me inside for a look, have been working diligently for 2 full years to restore this gem, with work now nearly complete. Their craftsmanship has produced truly stunning results. The Umpqua Valley American Viticultural Area, established in 2004, is one of the first AVAs in Oregon and is located entirely within Douglas County. Grapes grown here include Pinot Noir, Pinot Gris, Cabernet Sauvignon, Chardonnay, Riesling, and more. The first post-Prohibition estate winery in Oregon was established at HillCrest Vineyards in 1961, where the first Pinot Noir vines in Oregon were planted. They released their first bottle of Oregon Pinot Noir in 1967. This has given us the chance to connect with our friends Maria and Mike of Buck's blog on YouTube. Proprietor Susan Damaris spent about 2 hours with us, sharing the unique story of HillCrest Vineyards and sampling a number of their exceptional wines. Although their Pinot Noir was what struck a chord with me. We'll follow the Umpqua River all the way to the Oregon coast in Winchester Bay, right after we take one more ad break to pay the bills. So stay tuned. The Oregon Coast Range lies west of Roseburg and separates the city from the Pacific Ocean. These north-south oriented mountains extend for over 200 miles, from the Columbia River in the north, south to the middle fork of the Coquille River. It is 30 to 60 miles wide and averages around 1,500 feet in elevation above sea level, but reaches its highest point of 4,097 feet at Mary's Peak. The mountains are volcanic in nature, and the oldest portions of the range are over 60 million years old. They're home to a variety of wildlife, including black bear, deer, beaver, mountain lion, elk, and many species of birds. The Umpqua River reaches Winchester Bay at Reedsport. Located at the mouth of Winchester Bay, the first Umpqua River light was built in 1855 and lit in 1857. However, seasonal flooding led to yearly erosion of the sand embankment of the light, and it collapsed. This new lighthouse was first lit in 1894 and was automated in 1966. The structure was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1977. A broad expanse of sand dunes greets the Umpqua River as it arrives at the coast. We hope that you've enjoyed exploring the Roseburg area of Oregon with us. Now, coming up next week, we're going to continue our southward journey into California to Lake Oroville. So if you're not yet a grand adventurer, there is no better time than right now for you to go smash that little subscribe button right down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen and ring that notification bell to be sure that you never miss a grand adventure, which we premiere right here every Wednesday evening. We'd be honored if you shared the channel with your friends, family, and on social media. Understand, it's extremely important to us that if you enjoyed this episode from Roseburg, please be sure to give us a huge thumbs up down below. And while you're down below, that's where you'll find the comments section where we always love to hear from you each week. So until next Wednesday from Lake Oroville, please remember life is nothing but a grand adventure. We'll see you then.